Alright guys, today we're gonna do it live. Gonna recast this bathtub with the Ekopel 2K, and for anybody that thinks that maybe this is too difficult for them, or that we're leaving out a step or anything like that, we're just gonna do it right here live. I'm gonna try my best to dictate as I go. The best camera angle and lighting that I could get is by putting the camera over here, and I'm going to try to show you each step of the way, but we'll see how it goes. And I'll come over and get the camera in between cuts and try to show you everything that I can. All right, here we go. Bathtub. First thing we want to do is get some comfortable knee pads, roll up a towel or something along the edge. Right now I'm just laying out all my tools on the camera and show you that afterwards. Just put a couple of knee pads or a towel down. That'll make things a little easier for us. First thing we're going to do with this is we're going to wash it. Even as a pro, we still use the Lysol. Just makes things so much easier and less dangerous. So I'm just going to squirt it around the edge. Get a nice little even line there. And push that back up. We're going to be showing a new method today, which is going to be a lot easier. It's the way that they do it at Milestone Bath, which is we now have a partnership that we have a full developer deal with them. We're going to be supplying customers in the retail setting with the Ekopel 2K, and also apartment complexes, hotels, things like that. So anybody that you know that needs their tub done, instead of buying a $20 do-it-yourself Rust-Oleum kit that will fail in a couple of months, you can use this stuff. Nice and easy. The point of this is just to get everything nice and cleaned up. We don't want to be coating over any existing damage or anything like that. We don't want to be coating over soap scum. Things like that will make it so the coating could fail over time. So by using an acidic toilet cleaner like this, it eats into the porcelain a little bit and leaves everything a little bit more porous, so we can get a good bond. I'm sorry for all the this is my first live video that I've done, so let's see how well it comes out. When you guys are looking to order your product, you can get it on Amazon. We have it. We've also got it on our website with free shipping, which is refinishedbathproducts.com. We have more information about it, and where you can find a refinisher to hire at refinishedbathsolutions.com or refinishedbathproducts.com. Both of them are ours. One's just our purchasing portal. But we're happy to take any calls with any questions, email, text, any way that you prefer to contact us, just to make your experience that much easier. Also, if you could hit the thumbs up button and subscribe, that also helps us out as well. Alright, got that all nice and even on there. Now I'm going to weigh out the tools, and then I'll grab the camera and move it over. Boom, boom. Alright, so for this one, we got the acid all over the edge here, well, the acidic toilet bowl cleaner. And as a professional, instead of using the heat gun, I brought a torch. Just do it in half the time, but a blow dryer works fine. This is just to pop any little bubbles later in the process. We've also got our tape, our paper, a box of gloves. You want to just lay out something for a knee pad. Otherwise, you're going to be hovering over the tub, hurting your knees. But we've got our comb. And the new method we're going to use is using a foam roller. So normally we use a 3-inch foam roller, 3 or 4 inch. They're just a little bit smaller. In a pro application, you can use a little bit larger of a piece like this. This is just basically what we're going to do with it is level out the bottom at the end, and that's going to make it nice and easy to level out versus using the trowel spreader that we used to use. We're going to be supplying a pro kit versus the standard kit in our next batch that we set up on Amazon and on our page, so keep an eye out for that. Aside from that, we've got paper tape, a stirring stick, a couple of little Dixie cups to put in the drain to prevent anything from going down. But now that we've let this sit for a couple, now we've got to wash it off and then dry it out. And from there, we'll do some masking and then some pouring. All right. You want to make sure you keep the temperature between 70 and 75 degrees in the bathroom as well, just to make sure that the material runs down properly. If it's too cold, it's going to run down more slowly, and if it's too hot, it's going to run down more quickly, so you do need to adjust for that. It also changes the amount of time it takes to dry. So what I like to do when I'm rinsing the water out of the material out of here, I turn on the hot water, and that's going to warm up the cast iron a little bit. So let's do that. Sorry if it gets really loud. And of course the water is shut off. There we go. I'm going to rinse out our scrubby here. Shouldn't be too loud on us. Everything out of here. You can already feel the difference in the piece. A lot more sticky now, which is great. If any of you finishers out there looking for a way to deal with like tile walls and stuff like that, the best bet is to there's a column you can put you in touch with a commercial account over at Milestone where they have a bunch of liners and fixtures and all that sort of stuff available. So we'll get you set up on a commercial account. In the meantime, this material is really good for hubs, nuts, around the wall tile. I'll say that again a little later, just to get that question off. material out of here. We're gonna put it on one more time and just wash off any residual stuff out of here. Let's have a scrubber. That's going to get rid of that dust. Versus like sanding and stuff like that, and it's hardened porcelain, sanding doesn't really do much just because it's hardened porcelain and it's not going to scratch it up at all. So using the edge gives you a little bit more control. Alright, shake that out a little bit. And my knee pad towel is going to dry out the tub. Hot water is also going to help it dry a little bit faster too. Not that you're in a rush, but as a refinisher, we have a timeline, so we try our best to get everything done in a timely manner. This is looking a lot better already. So when you use this water instead of using separate water, it's best to cover it up with one of the gloves. That will make it so that you don't have to worry about potentially having water drip down during the process. Bring a roll of tape, and I am not proficient at opening tape, apparently. When you look back at how long this process took, and you see me struggling with the tape for 15 minutes, remember that. Hopefully fast forward right through this, so I don't look too bad. Alright, so you just stick the glove right on there. Tape it right up. That's just gonna catch any water that drips down. Nice. I'm just gonna fold it over. It's not dripping very much, but so you can see everything else, so do that a little bit better. Alright, so on a cloth tub, it's a little bit more tricky than some of the other tubs. So next thing we gotta do is remove the overflow and drain cover. There is no drain cover on this one. Try that again now that I stopped dripping. So normally we would remove this first, but in the haste of getting the video set up, I forgot. The screw's actually stuck in there pretty well, so I'm not going to take it off because I'm going to risk damaging it. The best bet is to do like a little quarter turn on each screw if you're going to take things off, and if it doesn't come off nice and smooth and easy, then you're better off just leaving it, because you'll end up breaking the screw, then you got to drill it out, and then you've got yourself a little bit of a plumbing issue. That's going to be a lot more expensive than $130. So, alright. we'll just tape it up instead. Alright, so tape wise, I like to use the 1.5 or 1 inch tape. It's a little bit, 1 inch tape's a little bit easier to keep control of, but I have a roll 1.5 with me here. Give these edges a more quick little wipe, and I don't think I can do it with the camera. I'll show you how it's done here. The best way to do this, you do have to pull the tape off at the end, so it's best to just wrap it around there and make it easy to take off. As worst case, you can touch up the couple of little spots with an Ekopel touch-up kit, but stuff's also really easy to deal with when it comes to, like, if you were to get any material on the fixture, you can wipe it off at the end. So that's basically what we're going to plan on doing if we get any on there. That looks pretty good right now. Just want to tape it out a couple of inches just in case we touch it with the rollie. Alright. And the second one, I do the same thing. This is pretty uncommon on a regular cast iron tub, but on a claw tub, almost all of them have the pieces right inside of them like this. So these are not fun to tape no matter what, unless they don't protrude like this, which is not common. At least it has a little bit of an edge, so that helps us a little bit taping it. Again, second couple little pieces just to hold the edge here. And make sure we don't touch anything. If you do tape knobs and stuff, you want to make sure that they don't get taped down so that you grab them or hit them. You want to make sure that they never turn on, just to prevent getting any water damage in there. Water is your enemy in this process pretty much. That said, there seems to be a little bit of a water drip over here. Let's hope that stops, or else I'll be putting a baggie on this part as well. I might just do that just for good measure. Alright, so this last piece here, yeah, the water's still dripping out of there. So we want to leave this with a little tab so that we can just pull it right off at the end. But yeah, this is still dripping, so I'm going to put another little glove right there. My face is dripping too because it's hot. Alright. Now I got this glove over here. We're going to leave the gloves on there pretty much the whole time, just in case it drips later on. You can use sandwich bags, gloves, whatever you got. I actually normally use sandwich bags, but I just happen to have the gloves right here, and I wanted to make this video as streamlined as possible, so it's kind of the way that went. So, alright. So now we've got it dried out. We've got the hardware taped. We're going to tape the drain next. So the drain, we're just going to put a few pieces straight across here. thick. Just to prevent anything from going down there. If anything goes in the drain, you have a big headache on your hand. You really want to prevent that. So there's the drain. I'm gonna bring the camera over here and cut it out from here. So just take a razor blade or a razor knife and just cut out the edges. Of course, this blade's dull, but whatever. It doesn't have to be perfect because you're gonna have to wipe this drain a couple times anyways. As long as nothing goes down it, that's all we're really rooting for here. All right, there you have it. Just a simple drain cover. These pieces just got taped up commonly, and the baggies are on there as well. All right, so we're doing inside only on this tub. The outside, she's got the decorative feet, and you really don't need to recast the outside unless you never want to peel or you're never going to change the color, because regular kitchen and bath paint is usually fine for the outside. And the next thing we're going to do is stir up the material. We're going to stir up the material next, and that you want to stir for 5 to 10 minutes, which I'm going to do right on cam. But after that, while that inducts, you want to leave it like 5 to 10 minutes after you stir it, and that's going to just let the chemicals mix and react. While that's happening, we're going to throw a couple pieces of paper along the outside to capture any drips from the edges here. And lastly, then we're just going to pour the material and we'll be good to go. All right, so stirring it here. Where did I put that? All right, so I'm gonna mix the two and stir them up. They have a tray there, little mini foam rollers with tray. Sorry about that. Don't worry about it, I'll get it later. The beauty of doing a live. I don't know if I can go back and cut that later, but I'll try. A lot of customers have been saying that Amazon's been damaging their cans, so I decided to do it with a damaged can just to show you that it's not a big deal. Amazon's not exactly the most gentle, nor is the post office, so it happens. Pop a pair of gloves on here. One thing about this stuff, it stays wet for a long time, and it's easy to get off, but it will never dry if it doesn't get the hardener mixed in there for the full allotted amount of time. So I'm going to show you the proper way to stir it up here. And also, like I said, you want to wear the gloves to prevent getting any all over the place. Just buy a box of gloves from Job Lot or Dollar Store or wherever, just to so you can go through them nice and fast. But yeah, I mean, that lid is just destroyed. Amazon special. What I try to do, easy to pop out dents, I just push them in real quick. And then from there, we're going to pour the entire contents of the material of the part B into the part A. And start stirring it up. You want to set a timer for 10 minutes. Set timer for 10 minutes. Perfect. And it's pretty warm in here, so I shouldn't have to go too crazy with this. I guess I can probably hold the camera for part of this. Give you a little bit closer of a look at it. So it's two separated pieces still, but when it's warm like this, it blends in a lot easier and it's more creamy. If it was cold, this would be really, really thick and almost impossible to stir. So that's how you know if you've got the can at the right temperature or not. It's really best to make sure that it's nice and warm before you start doing this, because it's going to save you a lot of time and a lot of dry time as well. Alright, so you do need to make sure you scrape the edges very well and scrape the bottom very well to stir everything. If you don't do that, and at the end of the process you leave the can upside down to pour everything out, it's going to have spots that don't dry. We had a couple of customers ask us about stuff like that, and it really comes down to how well you mix it. And that's honestly, that's the only thing that can prevent this stuff from drying, is not mixing it well enough. This stuff has been around for about 16 years, and it rarely happens. But that said, it does happen. So you want to make sure you stir it really well. And to do that, I'm going to use two hands. And I'm going to put the camera back over here. If you get any little drips into the tub, just scoop them back off and wash them out. Alright. Now, you can really tell when you start getting it worked in really well. It just all becomes more uniform. It's still very liquidy at the top. When the can's dented like this, you can push on any of the, pop a couple of the dents out just to get a little extra scraped off of the inside. You're not going to use all of this on a standard tub. It just makes it easier to coat the whole unit if you have more material. Of course, I left one of the items that we need downstairs. It's okay. I hope I'm not annoying everybody too much with this. If I was you, I would fast forward through this. Once you have a good idea of what we're doing. Like I said, see, scrape here, scrape along the edge, very good. And get it all the way around the whole can. Scrape it, scrape it, scrape it. Mix it, mix it, mix it. If you have any questions about mixing or anything like that, definitely feel free to give us a call or send us a text or an email. We're going to set up a text line for any customers that will be available from 8 o'clock in the morning to 9 at night, Eastern Standard. So anybody that has any quick little question, just shoot us a text message or a Facebook message and we'll respond immediately. Try to help solve your problem so you can get it done right and we get a 5 out of 5 review. But The stuff's so thick, it's the most durable material on the market, and that's never the problem. But we have to make sure that we get the easiest means of application and the best demo videos that we can to keep our customer base growing. So we don't want you to have a bad experience and not recommend us. We do have so much confidence in this material, and its ease of application is just on point. So, all right, we're about 5 minutes in. I can tell that this is completely blended now, but I'm still going to give it another minute or two of stir time, and then I'm going to take the outside of the tub on the floor there. That's for a clawfoot unit. I'm going to do another one on Friday. I'm going to do that live as well. That'll be a regular porcelain tub, and if I'm not mistaken, that's been done before. So we'll see what we can do with that one. So I'm going to let this sit for another 5 minutes, and then I'm going to stir it up for a couple more minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to tape the edges of the floor real quick, and I left one item downstairs that I need to go and get, which is our cup. But in the meantime, just regular roll of masking paper and masking tape, perfectly fine. You don't need to have a whole pro setup like this. You're really just trying to prevent anything from getting on the floor out here, so just put it against the wall and double thick. It's perfectly fine. Backside here is a little bit tricky. I'm going to mask it against the wall because it's a tough one. More quick pieces on the other side, and then we'll do it. got that all set up. I'm just gonna run down, grab a cup to scoop the material into. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna do that. This will take me 1 minute, and then we'll pour the material on. All right, perfect. Hope you guys have had enough time to wait. So I'm great at wasting time. So here we go. I'm just gonna get one more quick little stir. See the difference now, it all flows. The other item I needed was a cup. Alright. Bum, 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 bum. I'll do one more very quick wipe down. Alright. The easiest way to finish this is to bend the can like that. You want to get rid of the stick, but don't wipe the edges because there's going to be raw material on the edge. You don't want that. I like to just scoop it up, make sure you're not going to make a big mess, and stick that out of your way. So, something that's hurt a couple of installers is they pour it too slow. So it's important that you unload the whole can quickly. Then you can always scoop it back up and put it back in the can from the bottom. But if you pour too little on the sides, it won't run down properly. So what we're gonna do is take the can and pour a whole bunch. You'll have a better view when I come around to the other side. We just want to unload pretty much the whole thing, just in this area with these three walls. You leave the front wall open because it will allow you to lean over the side while you're spreading all this material out. So leave the can in there. Let it run down. On a claw tub, you got the catchers out there, you could call it, I guess. That's how quickly it should be running down. So if it's going really slow, you're not doing it right. That whole blob in the back, we're gonna scoop that right back into the can, and then we're gonna pour it on this wall with it afterwards. But once you get the walls done, you don't have to touch the walls again. They won't drip, they won't leave any marks. There'll be no problems with them. All right. Alright, so you're going to use your scooper. Just start scooping the material back in. Anywhere there's a void, you can just fill the scoop with it and re-pour it, or you can just lift it up if it's only a little ways up. That's just going to fill everything right in nicely. It's just like dripping water or something. So we're going to scoop the material right back into the can. See, it'll just keep flowing out nicely like this. And you just take a whole bunch of the extra. Just scoop it right back into the can. I know you can't really see this, but I'm trying. See how I can lean over the front here right now, but in time I won't be able to do that. Alright, so to finish the front, it's easiest to do it with a cup and to do it before the material has time to, before it gets on the front. Just want to make sure this isn't dripping first. Make sure it's not me. So I'm going to scoop a bunch into this cup, right off of this extra stuff from the back here. And about half a cup here. Now we're just going to pour this top edge here. And we're going to pour a bunch right down in here. When you have an issue like that, you can pour it right onto the spreader and then just work it into there. You can come back and hit that with the roller later too. I scoop all this extra right up the wall. All into the areas you can't see here. That's really the hardest part, is getting the material into areas like that. If you touch a high spot, you have to re-pour. Otherwise, you're gonna leave streaks. Anything a couple inches up, not a big deal. But anything higher up, you really should scrape it and scoop it up and re-pour it up there. But you can take a look at it again in a little while. You have a full hour to make this work. Alright, well, that's pretty much that with this part. We still have a thin area there, but I'm going to do that with the roller. Alright. You want to make sure you don't sweat like crazy in the tub too, huh? Doesn't help anyone. Alright. Right now, I'm going to pour the front edge here. when you're doing a standard bathtub, to deal with the outside edge, you really just want to pour it on the front half. And then we would take the comb normally and comb through it. But on a claw tub, it has a rounded edge, so it doesn't really work the same. And it's best just to do that. Alright, so I'm going to change my gloves. They're starting to get caked up. I have a couple things I got to touch. So I'll change them up. There we go. Get a little bit more of the tub in that view. But you can see it's all running down good. We've got plenty of time. So next step, I'll do what I should have already done and have this roller set up. That's weird. It's damaged. Keep that up, and we will be good to go. Of course, a few. All right. Make sure the roller is free flowing like this, and then you want to make sure you're not sweating a bunch. Not going to drip material into the tub. Dry myself off there. Alright. Just start moving the material around like so. Fill in any voids. You're basically just trying to get the roller saturated by moving the stuff around in the bottom quick. You don't want to coat the whole bottom yet, but up here I'm just going to dab those couple of spots that were see-through, and I'm going to load it up quick right here, and I'm just going to work a little bit of material into that void. If you push on it too much, you'll eliminate more than you put back, so you really just want to dip it in there and just get it flowing again. Alright, so that's that portion. Same thing up here. I'm just going to roll it right in there and then just let it run down. Just put extra. You're not trying to paint it with this. You're just trying to move the material around a little bit. So I'm going to pull these thick portions around, move them around a little bit, and then I'm going to just put a little bit more material up on the top, cover those last pieces. You want to do this kind of early in the process just because you don't want to have it, the material running down the whole time. And then you'll have to, fix those top pieces. You'll end up with some drips coming down if you do it too late in the process. So just get it done early. Again, we're not painting it. We're just moving material around and putting some material up on the top there. You want to go somewhat slow depending on what you got on the ground to catch the material with. If you don't have a drop cloth on the floor, you can easily just splash material right over the edge. and make a mess, especially with a 6-inch rollie. I'll bring the camera in and zoom in a little bit in a second too. That helps. Yep, nice and thick. We're not worried about anything else. Just don't want it to be see-through, and the leveling properties of Ekopel are gonna carry you right through on this one. So just taking it from all the super thick areas here, moving it around a little bit, and making sure the edge is coated with a nice thick bead of material. Back here. Sorry about standing in front of the camera. This is a tiny little spot that needs to get done. Walk you around and show you a little bit here. So you can see that edge, or this edge here, where I mess it up right now with this. And if we look back at it in a couple of minutes, you won't even be able to see that. Pretty uniform coat going everywhere here. Should be okay. I'm gonna stick this roller down here for a minute. This is that edge that we've been looking at. And it's just gonna work itself down and level out. All of the walls are now smooth, except for where I did it a little bit more slow than I normally would. So we've got little drips up the top. Just be patient with those. They'll work their way down in a few minutes. We're not gonna touch this again until it looks pretty much perfect. The only thing left really is to pop the bubbles, which there are a ton of bubbles. And that's from using the little mini roller there. But we're gonna level out the bottom a little bit in a few minutes. We're gonna scoop out the excess and then re-roll the bottom to level everything out. Then we're gonna pop all the bubbles, and then that's it. The unit will be complete. There's one spot missing a little bit of material up here. See that right there? I'm not gonna touch that again. It'll be perfect in a few minutes. Using Ekopel is a game of patience. If you don't have patience, that's how you damage it. I've learned that firsthand. The first unit that I did it by the book. Came out perfect, and then I thought I was an expert. And I did it my own way the second time, and I kept working it after the allotted time, and that's how I caused damage. I had to go back and sand down some drips because I put too much heat on it, and I did all kinds of stuff. When I'm talking about applying heat to a unit and popping bubbles, this is simply a 2-second thing that I'm talking about, which I'll show you quickly here. If my torch works. This is literally how fast I mean to do it with like a blow dryer or anything. See the bubbles? Just popped them. See all these bubbles? Pop, 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 pop. If you leave it on there too long, especially with a torch, you're gonna burn it up. So you don't want to be doing that. that's it. That's the whole unit. Torch down. And as you can see, everything looks pretty much perfect now. Except for there's too much material in the bottom, so we're gonna have to scoop a little bit of that out, level it back out, and then the only other things left after that will be to monitor the drain, pull the tape, and then we have to keep wiping these drips a little bit later in the process, and that's just going to dry everything out. But I've got the entire tub coated. I did all the prep work and everything and got the coating on there all in less than an hour, and I'm wasting a lot of time. So, you know, aside from the 24-hour cure time, this is something that is very simple to complete. Anybody watching along, feel free to ask us any questions, comment below, subscribe to our channel, and like this video. That definitely helps us out. Oh, yeah, perfect again already. I'm gonna put a new pair of gloves on here. I'm going to scoop that extra out, I'm going to level it up, and then that'll be it. Notice that the ease of use though really comes from doing it more quickly than not. When you pour it down fast like that, it's very easy to do it. With this, I'm just pushing everything that's extra to the back. All the extra to the back here. Thin it right down. All the extra to the back. Then I'm going to scoop out the extra. And then I'm going to just level everything out, reheat the surface, and then that'll be all. I have to stand up to do it because it's a closet. You want to watch your feet and make sure that you're not making a huge mess while you're doing it. Usually on a tub, you're gonna have about one solo cup worth of material extra, but use it and then scoop it out at the end because it will make the ease of application so much easier. But by using the mini roller instead of just the scoop, it's a lot easier to do. Alright, so see, I don't know if you can see that far away, but that's a whole cup of material that's going to be extra. And I'm going to put that over here. Get rid of my gloves so I can show you what to do now. At least one of them. And see, I left that whole area void. That's because there's still extra material everywhere. So I took one glove off. Let me take the other. All right. So we didn't even really make that big of a mess on the outside, but you do have to watch your feet because you'll leave footprints everywhere. I'll just take the material, level out the bottom. And now simply pull everything towards the center. See how horrible this looks? And in like 15 minutes time, if that, maybe like 1 minute time, this will all look perfect again. Same thing over here. I'm just gonna push the extra from the sides down towards the center. It's just gonna help prevent having a big like drip on the edge there. This extra spot here, I'm just gonna coat that. And yeah, if you roll over the little bubble spots a little bit, that'll help pop them too, versus having to go crazy with the heat. Blow dryer actually is one of the best ways to do that. And I can see both spots. Oop. I bumped my arm there on the edge. Best way to fix that, just load up your trowel and just dab it right on there. Just load it up real good and just hit it with a couple of dabs. If you do that at the end of the process, you're better off just leaving it and fixing it another time. If you do it early, it will all level itself out, but you do have to remember to put enough material to fix it. If you don't put enough, it won't level itself out good. So just roll over the little bubble spots if you see any. And then we're gonna hit it with the heat one more time. So I'm gonna put this over here. Use the heat one more time. Again, a blow dryer will work just as well. It's just very noisy, and I didn't want to be loud in this video. So as you can see, it just pops those little craters. One quick work through here. Just pop any little bubble that you see. That's all I see for bubbles. Shut that back off. And voila. This is perfectly shiny, smooth, and brand new. That bottom that was all messed up a minute ago is perfectly smooth and leveled out now. That drip that was right here has now gone away. Same thing on all the edges. One slightly thick spot right here. I'm gonna fix that. And then I just need to level out, remove the excess material from the drain, and we'll be in business. I don't like that one spot. I'm going to touch that up with twirly real quick. Perfect. Dab right here. And now for the old drain. Water dripping from somewhere here. To figure that out real quick first. I need to gloves on here. Boy, that's perfect. The roller method is so much easier. This is actually only one of the first few times that I've done it this way. Milestone has been doing it this way for a while, and we are just updating our instructions to have their method on there. That was nice. But they swear by using a little mini roller, and honestly, I think that's the best course of action. It went so easy. Notice there's no mask, no nothing. There's no smell with this material, so you don't have to worry about any of that. So I'm just pulling the tape off now. You want to be very careful not to touch the piece. But if you do it early enough in the process, at least you can fix it. If you do, but as a pro, you would think you've done it enough times you don't hit it very often, but you do in tight quarters like this. So all right, and this is actually going well. The other thing that's tough with the Ekopel, it's so wet and slippery when it's wet like this that it's really easy to not be able to get a grip on it. But I got it. All right. See, look, my fingers are all slippery now. Just have to wipe them off. And there. Same thing, the earlier the better with this. For the other reason is that if you do get any like dirt or dust or anything that falls in, you can wipe it off still. I can see there's a couple of small spots that got missed. Just gonna get a little bit of material on my finger here, fill them in. Wipe it right off of the piece. The easy use is so good that if you do make a mistake, it's very easy to fix or clean off as long as you do it before the material cures. Alright. Simple piece of toilet paper to wipe this little bit of material off of here. Just want to get the thick portion off, not worry about it. All right. last thing you want to do is just take your finger along the edge here and just wipe off any big drips on the edge. You can do it with your fingers, you can do it with a rag. Just want to make sure you do it because it will leave long stalagmites on there. And you can do this when you're a homeowner. You want to do this multiple times. When you're a refinisher, you need to do it once or twice at the beginning, and then you do need to let it sit for a while, and then you can come back and hit it again later. That's the best bet. You gotta scoop the drain, and that's the more or less the last thing here. So pour out the extra from that cup and just pour it right back into the original Ekopel can. A small spot that needed to be touched up right there. And one more right here. On the outside of a cloth though, it's just simple. You just pour a little extra and you're all set. Alright, so with this, just scoop up the extra material that you don't need. And you can work it for about an hour to an hour and a half, anywhere where it's flat like this. So I like to scoop off a wider area like that and get rid of the spreader. Gloves are all full of material again. Get rid of those. And you don't want to sweat in the tub, so we'll prevent that. Just take a little roller. Just gonna level out everything right around the drain once more. Remember, it might not look perfect while you're doing it, but once it dries, it will be perfect. Alright, so now what I've done is just remove the extra from the drain itself there, and just gonna give it one more quick couple quick wipes. One more glove here. And since I just hit the bottom again with the roller, I'm going to have to pop those bubbles yet again. The only downside to using that is that you do have to go over it, but if you're using a blow dryer instead of the heat gun, it'll pop them and have less to worry about. Alright, so basically I'm just trying to get rid of the excess that's on the actual drain itself. Just trying to make it as easy of a cleanup as possible at the end. I like to just scoop up the material with my finger and wipe it on the paper. I like to leave it so you can clearly see the tape versus not. To me, it just makes it that much easier to clean at the end. As a homeowner, you can pull the paper on the drain now. Just know that you need to keep monitoring it and make sure that the material doesn't go down the drain. You're gonna have to keep wiping it off with just a rag. You just gotta stick your finger right on the area and just wipe it down every once in a while. If you look at it like every half hour or so, it'll take a couple hours to dry before it starts settling down and stuff. But anyways, this is pop those bubbles again. Alright, and that's pretty much it. From there, this is finished. As you can see, it looks brand new, ready to go. The only thing you gotta monitor is the drain. As a refinisher, I have to leave it like that. And I'm gonna come back in a couple hours after lunch and just pull the tape and wipe off the drain. But aside from that, there's really nothing else that needs to be done to this. Remove the paper and just that drain area there. But I hope you thought this was nice and simple, straightforward. If you have any questions, please ask us in the comments below. You can order yours on refinishedbathproducts.com or on Amazon if you search for Ekopel. That other material that's available on Amazon is a knockoff product, and it's really not anywhere near as strong as this stuff. If you ask any refinisher in the business, they'll tell you pretty much the same thing. It's about 50% the thickness of what Ekopel is. So keep that in mind. That won't work with the roller method because it will be see-through. But yeah, any questions, feel free to give us a call, 877-TUBCAST, and order your Ekopel today. Thanks for watching the video, and